And we will be going live on Facebook. We're good? Going on Facebook? Okay, we're on YouTube. Hello YouTube, how are you? We're going to be talking about Roku today. We're good on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, Roku reports this week everything you need to know. I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. So many great things to talk about today. Roku and how I see their earnings coming up Wednesday after the close. We're going to go through all that and more by watching the show you're holding me, Mark Melnick, and T3 Live. Harmless and not responsible for anything represented anyhow through this channel. If you do not agree, exit this video. If you do agree, enjoy the show because you are agreeing to it by watching. Okay, we're going to go right into Roku this week. One of the more interesting names, and I find it kind of funny because not many people really know what Roku is. It's kind of funny because I've never bought a Roku. How many of you guys actually used Roku before? And I just want to talk about that. I'm sure people have. I'm not one of those people. Do you like it, Rick? How do you think about it? How do you feel about it? But let's just go into you too, Mark. Okay. So basically, how it works is it's just basically a streaming player that connects to your TV that allows you to stream content to your television if you have a smart television. Very simple, very easy to understand. I'm going to give you guys real quick analysis because I have to get back to the Newsbeat room and share the challenge for this week where most of us were just really just crushing it. A lot of us batted 100% with the Newsbeat challenge, and I'm going to be spending time with our members to propel them to the next level. But I did want to bring you some value here today as well. So let's just go right into Roku. Let's talk about what happened. Now, this is what happened on their last earnings. The stock closed at 64.92. Opened up about $5 higher, $5.08 higher, and shot to 83. So the stock literally went up almost $19 between the prior days, open and close after their earnings report. So obviously, absolutely tremendous earnings there. Let's just go ahead and talk about what happened. They lost 9 cents a share that day. That beats the analyst consensus of a loss of 24 cents. They made 206.7 million. That is far ahead of the 191.97 million expected. Now, they started talking about this quarter coming up. That's this Wednesday after the close. This is what they were talking about. They said that this quarter they're looking for 42% year-over-year revenue growth to nearly 223 million at the midpoint. Gross profit. Gross profit of roughly $101 million reflects continued strength of the platform business. They see Q2 adjusted EBITDA loss to be roughly 7.5 million with in Q2 at the midpoint. That sounds great. Now, what they did was they raised their fiscal year 2019 gross profit view to 470 million from 453 million. Why I like this when they raise their gross profit views because it just simply means they're pretty much saying that in a company of Roku's case that people are coming out and they're just buying these little connectors into their smart TVs, and they're just simply going to make more money. They said that they remain confident in their outlook for reaching over $1 billion in revenue, with raised outlook representing roughly 40% year over year growth. It is exploding, up from 36% year over year growth in their prior outlook. And based on the continued strength of their platform business, they now expect the platform revenue to represent roughly two-thirds of the total revenue. They raised their total gross profit. And this is for the quarter coming up. This is right out of the horse's mouth what the company feels like they're going to push forward with. They said they're raising their total gross profit outlook to roughly 470 million. That is ahead from the roughly 453 million 453 million they thought they'd make previously. So that's $17 million more. Doesn't sound a lot, maybe if you're on Apple or Facebook or Google, but in the case of a Roku, it is absolutely huge because I mean they're growing like 4 or 5% that they're raising per quarter. That is tremendous growth. They're still focused on investing in our business by managing the business to roughly break even in 2019. But with Q1 upside, we're raising our full year adjusted EBITDA outlook to a range of 10 million to 20 million, double what they were talking about earlier. Now you have what's called an ARPU number, ARPU. I mean, PU, right? ARPU. What that is, it's the average revenue per user, basically. So for everybody who uses the platform, this is how much revenue they make. So this ARPU number, ARPU, the average revenue per user, is up 79% to 134.2 million. That was on the previous earnings, the last earnings right over here, where they were trading on May 9th. They reported, I believe, May 8th after the close. So, yeah, they opened up on May 9th and they were just really going crazy. They were making an average revenue of $19.06, up from a dollar. It's up $1.11 versus the quarter before. So what they're doing is they're taking the users they already have, they're growing that user base larger, and on average for each one of those users, on average they're making $1.11 more from the previous quarter. This to me is explosive growth. This to me is explosive growth. Yes, I was the person who came out on Netflix and was bashing it. I guess this is the closest thing that you could see. I was the one bashing Netflix. We actually did very well shorting that thing. I was that person bashing Netflix. Roku is not to be bashed. This is completely different. This is completely different. And this company is growing massively. It's not something that I would ever buy. I don't need it. I have a smart TV with Netflix and Amazon Prime and all the great stuff that I like to watch. I don't have a use for it, but that doesn't mean that others don't. The company is moving, the company is exploding. I will come out right now and I will put out, I want to be modest. I want to be modest. I'll put a $120 target on Roku. Right now, as we speak, the market is gapped down, so we're probably walking into potentially, it should be potentially trading under $100 tomorrow. It closed at $100.53. Really beautiful pullback after hitting ascending resistance. Remember, this is where we were calling the top of Roku, right there on July 16th, if you recall. Stock had a very healthy pull into the downside, just really nice digestive pattern coming in, resting on a myriad of support here between a Bollinger Band report support, a 50 moving average, and an algorithmic trendline support, trying to hold above it here. And even though that the market has been kind of silly and moving down in a really spectacular fashion, I think Roku's earnings are going to be phenomenal on paper. I think if you read Roku's earnings on paper, they're going to be phenomenally impressive. They're growing. I do not personally see their growth slowing down. I don't think the US China trade war has any negative impact on this company whatsoever. And a company like this still has room to grow because it's still in the infancy stages. And just to even think about Roku here, Roku has an 11.38, let's call it even $11.4 billion market cap. That is a very tiny company. Compare that to Netflix, which is 13 times larger at a $139 billion market cap. For a company like Netflix, I think Roku definitely has a very sexy place in this sort of streaming market. I think they have a very sweet spot where they could continue growing. And it's a company that, yeah, they are losing money. As I just told you those numbers, they are losing money, but this is the type of company that I can easily see starting to turn profitable because they're just starting to make more per user. They're growing the user base and they're actually making more dollars per user. I don't believe Roku has unique content. Like, I don't believe there, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. I don't think there's any Roku originals. Like, so for example, if you wanted to watch Stranger Things, I mean, that's owned by Netflix. Netflix owns it and they pay a gazillion dollars to actually create that. Roku doesn't have that headache. Roku's like, okay, yeah, all right, well, we're not giving you those sort of things, but we're going to let you go up to any smart TV and start streaming whatever you want. It's very convenient, it's very easy, it's a very simple subscription service, and a lot of people like it. All you need is really an internet connection. And and basically what happens is it actually makes your TV smart, right? It actually makes your TV smart. So what does it do, Amy? Does it take stupid TVs and make them smart? All kidding aside, when you're dealing with a Roku here, uh, it's just one of those things that I think is still continuing to grow. I still don't think that Wall Street fully appreciates what it can do, even though the stock has been on a tear. Like here's a weekly chart. Here's a weekly chart of Roku. I would expect the numbers coming out this Wednesday to be very bullish. Really quick. Nope, that's not it. Really quick here. Um, just want to go through. Where is that? Just going to share with you tomorrow's levels today before we go into the Newsbeat challenge. Just hide my mug there for a second. Those are tomorrow's algorithmic levels. You got the Q, Spiders, IWM, all the FANG names, gold, USO, and the S&P 500. These levels don't always hit, but when they do, I tend to have a very easy time making money buying through support or shorting through resistance, either through stock or options. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be continuing the Newsbeat challenge. Consistency for a minimalist. Are you sick and tired of watching your P&L go up and down with maybe the overall trend down or the overall trend choppy and sideways? Maybe you're sick and tired of that. Maybe you need the true consistent approach to the market, which is a minimalist approach, not a maximum approach. Maximalist? Yeah, that is a word. Remember, we looked it up. Not the maximalist approach where you're trying to trade as many of these setups as possible. We did a very good video earlier on the Newsbeat Live Evolutionary Gathering. We basically taught you, we actually renamed the Evolutionary Gathering as well. We actually taught you how to, we actually taught you how to actually manage your expectations after a win streak of wins or a streak of losses. Because what happens is after a streak of losses, traders tend to do a lot different type strategies, a lot of new things that can drag their account even further down. And after a string of wins, traders like that was one of the issues I'm trying to address this week because the Newsbeat traders came in, some of you guys flawless with just a bunch of wins last week. I'm actually trying to teach you how to hold it. We're going to go right into the Newsbeat room. We're going to talk about the Newsbeat challenge for the week ahead. If you wish to be part of it, there's links in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed my analysis on Roku. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.